Uh, Good morning, everyone. I believe that I'm on line right now. At least I hope so. And I want to say thank you to all for participating in this first virtual conference, first virtual National History Conference that we have the pleasure of doing. There is simultaneous translation available for everyone. The simultaneous translation is such that I'm going to do my opening in English as opposed to doing what I usually do, which is mixing English and French. So let me say before I continue, therefore, that I really love the French language. And so as many of you know, and because of this translation methodology that we're using for the first time, I'm going to continue in English with my opening thoughts about the virtual conference we're doing. All of you know why we're doing this virtually, of course. It's largely because of the pandemic and the challenges that the pandemic has presented to us collectively. So in that regard, our capacity to pivot, to make necessary adjustments so that we could bring the whole group together and bring all of you together, I think is in large part a function of the really remarkable contribution of the many partners that helped us to put this together. And in that regard, let me thank the Manitoba History and Social Studies Teachers Association, the Ontario History and Social Studies Teachers Association, and our colleagues at ACEUS, the Quebec, well, if I translate this in English, it's the Universe of and Social Studies of Quebec Teachers Group. I also want to thank the Department of Canadian Heritage for their ongoing support in making this happen. And thank again the many volunteers who from across the teachers associations who've contributed to making this happen for us. I believe we're about 500 in all, which is a record for us, virtual or physical, for anything we've done since, I believe, something we did possibly 20 years ago in Winnipeg when we had 600. We're actually supposed to be doing this in Winnipeg, in fact. So we're very pleased that we could do so virtually. I also want to mention that we have a really, really interesting program and very diverse program that's touching on a range of issues. We'll be looking for our part of the Association for Canadian Studies at the issue of e-learning, a subject that couldn't be more topical right now, as we intend to introduce a new e-learning tool in the next 6 months called You Can Study. And we'll have a survey that's probably circulating now or shortly will be circulating that we'd like all of you to fill out so it can help guide us in terms of our You Can Study project. We'll also have an interesting keynote with the Honorable Jean Augustine, who will share with us some of her observations about our current situation, and also talk a bit about the history of minorities and persons of African descent in Canada. So we're very pleased and thankful to have Jean. And let me close by thanking my own team, beginning with Sarah Quay, who's done a really remarkable job in helping put this together, as well as James Ondrick, who you're, I suspect, all familiar with, or most of you are familiar with, for his years of dedication to putting this conference together, and Chloe Nignol as well, who's helping us with the technical challenges that hopefully we'll be able to manage over the course of this day. So on that note,
which I love because it means really big river, and it's true. The river fills me with awe every time I visit it, which is as often as I can. The Algonquins of Ontario currently have a land agreement in principle signed in 2016 that covers 36,000 square kilometers and about 1.2 million people, including 10 Algonquin communities. They're working towards a final agreement, but the ongoing nature of the negotiations is a clear reminder that we are all in treaty relationships and that our obligations to each other rest on understanding of both our past and present so that we can act in good ways for the future. Ultimately, that's why history and social science education is so important. And we're helping young people to see themselves in relationship with others so that they can become thoughtful citizens and take their place in their communities, in our country, and the world. This conference is a result of relationships that we've been building for many years. It's the very first interprovincial conference of history and social science teachers, and the first fully virtual conference for all of us. I have to thank everyone on the OHASTA executive, our partners at MISTA, at COUS, and especially the dedicated staff at the Association for Canadian Studies, who Jack named a bunch of them, without whom this virtual interprovincial bilingual historic conference would not have been possible. Our next step in building relationships is a brand new network, the Social Studies Educators Network of Canada, or SENC. The good news is you're here, so you're already a member. As a member of your provincial association, you're represented by your executive to SENC already. SENC has 3 goals: to advocate for social studies education across Canada, to facilitate networking and cooperation among social studies educators, and to engage with our partners in developing policies and resources related to social studies education across Canada. To that end, we invite you to join our very first SENC event here at this conference. During the exhibitor breaks, come and have lunch with us at the SENC booth in our Zoom room and meet teachers to chat, hang out, and share. My colleague Rémi Lavoie will be hanging out there most of the day, so there'll always be somebody to talk to in French or English. Just feel free to drop in if you have a question for any of the organizers and you want to talk to a real person in English or French. You can also download a copy of our first newsletter, Salon, and follow us on our Twitter account. Next year, we have big plans to launch a website, more social media, and have more virtual events to connect social studies teachers across Canada. Your provincial association will keep you up to date as always, and we hope you'll join us for future events that will keep building our knowledge and our relationships. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making the time to leave your classrooms to be here today. None of this happens without you being here to learn and share with your colleagues. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Kevin Lopuck, to give greetings on behalf of MISTA.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin Lopuck, and I'm the president of the Manitoba Social Science Teachers Association. And thank you for very much for being here today. We're very excited. I wanted to start by saying that the Manitoba Social Science Teachers Association and the Manitoba Teacher Society would like to recognize that the lands at the junction of the Red and Assiniboine rivers are located on Treaty Number 1 lands, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. MISTA and MTS respect the treaties that were made on these territories, and we acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Right now, the world we live in, and more importantly, the world our students live in, is one in which history, geography, politics, and economics are plastered all over the media and are essential components to understanding how to have a functioning society. One might look no further than the complex issues related to living in a global pandemic to see why teaching and learning in social studies is critical. Globe and Mail journalist Mark McKinnon once wrote, quote, "Rarely it seems has the world spun so rapidly, have events felt so out of control. The headlines blur into one another, feeding the sense of a world in chaos," end quote. Though he wrote those words in 2016, the same can be said of the world of 2020. Now, more than ever, social studies teachers are perhaps the most important resource in creating a citizenry that cares about issues from a local and global perspective, but also a citizenry who are, according to Westheimer and Kane, personally responsible, participatory, and justice-oriented. This is why I'm so proud of the collaboration that is happening here today between social studies teachers from across the country. And I'm also proud of the efforts to form this new Social Studies Educators Network of Canada. Today, I encourage you to reach out to your colleagues from across the country to meet, discuss, and learn how to better serve our students while we adapt to a profession that seems to change every day during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Manitoba, we know that not all of our colleagues are able to attend today. Professional development days were repurposed at the beginning of the school year to focus on preparation for our new reality of COVID learning. And some school divisions decided that meant that they needed to take this day, a professional development day historically protected for all members of the Manitoba Teacher Society, and use it in other ways. Just yesterday, the Manitoba government announced new changes as schools in the city of Winnipeg and surrounding areas moved to Code Orange. And although Manitoba teachers are confronting all these new challenges head on, we are stressed. So it is with hope that I say that on a day like today, we can learn from each other. We can lean on each other from across this great country to find the support and resources we need to continue to do what I believe is the most important job and best job in the world. On that note, I would like to encourage you to take the time during the day to visit our virtual exhibitor hall and say hi to the people and organizations who believe in us, in what we do, and who want to support us as best they can. During the breaks between sessions, please use the virtual attendee hub to check out these awesome supporters. Lastly, I wanted to give a huge thank you to my colleagues at the MISTA Executive, our friends at OHASTA, ECUS, ACS, and SENC for the incredible amount of hours and the incredible amount of Zoom calls that were put into making this national conference a reality. I wish you all an amazing day. And right now, I will turn it over mon amie Liz.
Bonjour, merci Kevin. Bonjour à vous toutes et toutes. Mon nom est Lise Proux et je suis la présidente de l'Association québécoise pour l'enseignement en univers social. Je suis très heureuse d'être là et je désire souhaiter la bienvenue à tous les membres de l'ACUS. Je voudrais saluer également les enseignants des autres provinces francophones et anglophones. Tout d'abord, en lien avec l'actualité récente, nous croyons important à l'ACUS de souligner et d'affirmer ce qui suit. Le siège social de notre association est situé à Montréal, là où, bien avant l'arrivée et l'établissement des Français, différents peuples autochtones qui occupaient le territoire interagissaient les uns avec les autres. Nous souhaitons leur rendre hommage aux peuples autochtones et à leurs descendants, ainsi qu'à l'esprit de fraternité qui a amené à la signature en 1701 de la Grande Paix de Montréal. Ce traité de paix a créé des rapports pacifiques durables entre la France, ses alliés autochtones, et la Confédération Haudenosaunee. Cet esprit de fraternité provenant de ce traité est un modèle pour notre communauté d'enseignants d'univers social, de sciences sociales et en particulier pour ce partenariat développé ces dernières années avec les associations sœurs des autres provinces, le Réseau pour l'enseignement des sciences sociales du Canada. Nous sommes donc très heureux de pouvoir tenir un congrès cette année malgré la situation actuelle de la pandémie. En principe, nous aurions eu rendez-vous à Saint-Hyacinthe dans un mois, mais comme vous tous, nous avons réalisé à un certain moment que notre rendez-vous annuel serait impossible sous sa forme habituelle pour 2020. Nous avons dû rapidement nous tourner vers un plan B, car nous trouvions très important, malgré la situation, de continuer à soutenir le développement professionnel des enseignants et des conseillers pédagogiques. À cet effet, nous tenons à souligner que tout ceci n'aurait pas été possible sans toutes les ressources et l'appui de l'Association d'études canadiennes, l'AEC, avec qui nous avons développé depuis plusieurs années déjà un partenariat teinté d'une sincère amitié. Jack, nous tenons à vous remercier très sincèrement et tout le personnel de l'AEC. Nous voulons aussi souligner que ce congrès a été rendu possible grâce au partenariat développé depuis les dernières années avec nos amis des associations de l'Ontario et du Manitoba. Merci Rachel et Kevin. Je m'en voudrais aussi de passer sous silence l'immense travail accompli pour l'ACUS par notre vice-président Rémi Lavoie. Si vous avez des félicitations à acheminer pour l'ACUS, c'est à lui que vous devez les faire parvenir. Je vais m'occuper des plaintes, s'il y en a. J'espère qu'il n'y en aura pas trop. On l'a dit, c'est une première expérience. Je dois quand même bien ça à Rémi. Merci infiniment, Rémi. Et en passant, si vous désirez parler à l'ACUS aujourd'hui, on va être présent dans le salon des exposants sous la bannière du Réseau pour l'enseignement des sciences sociales du Canada, dont nous faisons partie avec nos amis de l'Ontario, du Manitoba et de chaque province du Canada. Avant de conclure, nous ne pouvons passer sur silence que l'ACUS croit qu'il est fondamental de souligner l'importance du travail des enseignants d'histoire et de géographie au regard des événements très récents de l'actualité qui nous ont secoués et qui concernent des questions socialement vives. Nous avons confiance au professionnalisme des enseignants. Nous comprenons que la situation actuelle n'est pas toujours évidente, mais nous voulons souligner à quel point l'enseignement des sciences sociales est plus important que jamais. En histoire, enseigner les concepts de la pensée historique implique le recours aux sources premières avec ce que cela comporte, ce qui permet de contextualiser les différentes époques en évitant le présentisme et les jugements éthiques. Nous savons que les enseignants sont capables d'aborder en classe ces questions en adoptant une posture et une perspective géographique et historique avec sensibilité et prise en compte des points de vue. Il ne fait aucun doute pour nous qu'il est évidemment crucial de dénoncer le racisme lorsque c'est le cas. Il faut cependant distinguer le contexte pédagogique d'apprentissage d'une classe et le rôle de l'enseignement qui consiste à nourrir la réflexion et développer l'esprit critique chez les élèves. Apprendre à réfléchir de façon critique aux horreurs du passé et du présent aide les élèves à développer leur conscience historique et géographique. Nous souhaitons donc affirmer fermement notre confiance dans le professionnalisme dont nous savons que les enseignants ont toujours fait preuve concernant des questions socialement vives. Nous savons que vous allez continuer d'aborder les thèmes de nos programmes en effectuant une contextualisation nécessaire et rigoureuse. En terminant, après moi, il y aura un message de vidéo de Carla Peck sur Penser historiquement pour l'avenir du Canada. Et les séances vont débuter à 10h30. Donc, je vous souhaite, au nom de l'accueil, une excellente journée. Bon congrès à tous et à toutes. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, everyone. And just a correction, the sessions do start at 10 in 9 minutes. And hopefully you will be able to join a great session and learn a lot today. Thank you so much.